Moving into black with Lorwyn Eclipsed, we have Auntie's Sentence. Flexible piece of removal, 2 mana. Your opponent reveals their hand, and they discard a non-land permanent card. So that could be anything that's not an instant or sorcery, I guess. They have to discard it, or you can kill a little creature. This is sorcery speed, though, so like you can't hit them in their upkeep. It can't hit every type, but it can hit, I would say that most threats unlimited are permanents. Or you can do -2/-2. And I still think the flexibility of this card makes it definitely playable. I wouldn't run a pile of them, but I would run like 1 or 2 of these. The only trouble is that this removal doesn't kill everything. It's a little too small, and at 2 mana, it could be kind of slow. So we've got, this is a boggart gaveling on a frog to send out the pretty elf. Sorry, pretty elf. You have to leave. Barbed Bloodletter, 2 mana flash equipment. So this comes out automatically equipped, so it's kind of a combat trick. And gives Wither. Oh, and +1/+2. That's very cool. So Wither deals damage in the form of -1/-1 counters. Only 2 creatures. If it hits like a planeswalker, if it hits somebody's face, it does the normal amount of damage, but it is a permanent +1/+2 on this equipment. The equipment can be moved around, but the Wither is only on the turn that this comes down. This could be a cool way to deal damage, -1/-1 counters, if that's something you care about as a theme. Putting -1/-1 counters on your opponent's stuff specifically. Not too bad, but very cool just because of like this interaction. It's a combat trick, and it's a nice one. Vile Boggart. Well, that is a weird looking boggart. So the Shadowmoor boggarts, they changed a lot of them to be kind of more like pig monster looking. I don't remember them looking like this as often last time we were in Shadowmoor. So we have a bunch of them. They're still out here collecting experiences, just oftentimes experiences of violence and consumption. They're like a boar guy, yeah. 1 mana, 1/1. When it dies, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. You could hit your own if you're trying to like get a payoff from that. We've seen this effect before in Limited, and it tends to be kind of nice. It's kind of like it's attacking in a way where oftentimes people won't want to block because it can trade into things that are better than it. And also just that permanent -1/-1 is really good. I want to say it was like a zombie or a mummy or something that did that. Yeah, this is not bad. I think as far as your 1-drops go, I could throw one of these into a deck. And look, it's so little, you can convoke with it. It's a Goblin Assassin. Oh, also, bonus, it's a 1-mana assassin. That's good for Etrata, you Commander players out there. You Etrata gamers. I would say it's probably, it's different than like Fear of Missing Teeth. You don't get the life gain, it's not an enchantment. Can't hit face. Still good, still cool. Bitter Bloom Bearer. So this is, I would say, one of the face cards of the set. That God we saw before is the other one. So this is Bitter Blossom on a faerie. This is a 2-mana flash flyer. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and you make a faerie. This is very good for Limited. It is very killable too, but the fact that it has flash means that you can dodge some removal by having it come out at the end of your opponent's turn, and then you're getting this. I definitely could see this getting some standard play, especially if there is some good payoff for, little guys, and it's a little guy. Yeah, more flash flyers too. The mana cost is a little tricky. You might not have black early in the game in Limited unless you were heavy in black, but still very, very good for Limited. Could see constructed play. We'll see play in faerie decks. The little guys. Yeah, you're also making fairies you could like throw Blight onto, but you can also just attack in with them because they're flyers. Yay. Blight Rot. Oh no, this poor tree. He's sick. He is at instant speed putting 4 -1/-1 counters on target creature. Gross. Yeah, it's a nasty fungal infection. This is pretty decent removal. You can very much just take away a card's entire just like power and toughness, and unless they had something like Reese to clear it off, I mean, they're probably dead anyway. Like -4/-4 kills most things in the set. The flavor text, yeah. It's the infection became a funeral. Uh-oh. I don't want to be that tree. Yeah, seems very good for limited, though. It's a 3-mana kill spell that hits a lot of stuff and permanently hurts a lot of other things. Blighted Blackthorn. I'm gonna guess it does more blight stuff. Yeah, it does. 5 mana, 3/7, enters or attacks unless you blight 2. And it can blight things other than itself. It can blight any creature you control. If you do, you draw a card and lose 2 life. Or, sorry, lose 1 life. Cool. I like that. So you could have this enter as a 1/5, and you draw a card and lose a life. I think that's kind of cool for limited. Do I think it's super strong? No. Do I think if you have the booty thing, it's better? Yes, for sure. It's a Treefolk Warlock. Yeah, it's an outlaw. It's an outlaw. I don't think this would see play outside of limited or potentially a -1/-1 counters theme deck, but it's a little expensive to fit into, like, Scorpion God. The booty thing? Yeah, the Treefolk have, like, a Toughness Matters sub-theme sometimes. Bloodline Bidding. Oh, there's a lot of heads coming out of that orb. This is an 8-mana Convoke spell. Choose a creature type. Return all creature types of the chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, so it's a mass reanimation of 1 type. I would probably skip this unlimited, even though it has Convoke. It only hits your graveyard. It only hits 1 creature type. And while it could be a blowout, it requires the setup for it of having all the creature types in your graveyard, being able to cast this. It does have Convoke, though. Yeah, we had a similar card in Kaldheim that was like this, and I also didn't love it there. So, you know, feel kind of the same way about it here. It's very expensive. Can you make it work unlimited? Yes. Will it be hard? Yeah. Boggart Mischief. More of the boar-headed Boggart here on the left, and then the, I don't know, kind of more goblin-y looking one. So you have, I guess this is a guy on a Shadowmoor side, and this is a guy on a Lorwyn side, because you can kind of see the light on the wheat versus the shadow here. 3 mana. This is a goblin enchantment, so it does count as a goblin. When this enchantment enters, you may blight 1. So you have to have a creature to put a -1/-1 counter on, and if you do, you get 2 goblins. Nice. Whenever a goblin you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain 1 life. So specific to goblins, but the more goblins, the merrier. This would be a really fun card to, like, bounce into your hand. Kill your own goblins? Yeah, kill your own goblins. Goblin Bastion of Remembrance? No, but you have to have a creature out to get the goblins. I feel like I'm in the middle on this one. Just because you need to have a creature to make the first part work. Not bad, though. Hey, we're getting raided by Headology. Headology, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Welcome to Goblin Hours. I believe that the Boggarts, the goblins, are in black-red this set. Boggart Prankster. Oh, you just wish you could vomit as well as this frog could. Whenever you attack, target attacking goblin you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Fetch my bow and an umbrella. Yeah, this guy's just getting nasty on your roof. Looks like he has another exhausted frog or something on his back. Like, I'm done with that one. 2 mana, 1/3, though. It's fine. It can buff itself, attack as a 2/3. But it's not... And yeah, it's nothing too crazy. Is that frog's having a day? Yeah, and this goblin's having a day. Bog Slither's Embrace. This is a 2 mana sorcery that you either have to blight 1 or pay 3 mana. So it's 5 mana or 2 mana and blight 1 to exile target creature. It's a sorcery speed removal, but I think that that's still a pretty good piece just because it's exiling removal. That'll get around. There's a little bit of persist in this set. And, like, you could do it for 2 mana. And kind of, like, compare it to the 1 mana you have to sacrifice your own creature ones. I think just the Blight 1, a lot more survivable. Yeah, definitely good for limited. It's too slow, I think, for anywhere else. Unless you have -1/-1 counters as a theme. Champion of the Weird. No, weirds are elementals. You're just a freaky goblin. This is a 4 mana 5/5. Again, it's another one of those champion cards, which means you're gonna have to either reveal a goblin from your hand or have one in play. And by the way, you could do this with a Goblin enchantment. It does not need to be a creature. It just needs to be a Goblin. That card, or that permanent, gets put into exile. And then, this is a 4-mana 5/5. You can pay 1 life to Blight 2 to make your opponent Blight 2 at sorcery speed. And when this creature leaves the battlefield, you can put the exiled card, or you put the exiled card back into its owner's hand. So you get the card back in hand, you have to cast it again if it was in play. It has Wasp Nest Gloves. I think of the ones we've seen so far, this is my least favorite. I feel like you could have a 4-mana 5/5, like the pure stat line at uncommon, and the ability on it, I'm just not that big on. It's essentially like I blight to you blight. I blight's another own thing. No, they're not gloves. He's holding 2 wasp nests. He's stinging himself to sting you. But I feel like if it were something like pay 1 life, blight 1, your opponent has to blight 2, then I would be into it. But the fact that it's kind of a 1-for-1, it's sorcery speed, I'm thinking like they get to pick the targets. And you could do this 3 times onto the Champion of the Weird. But it went pretty hard in the pre-release. Yeah, I'm not that big on it, but I could see it being like a nice removal type ability if you have high toughness stuff, if you have things that can survive through it. Yeah, but again, I'm very hesitant on the champion cards. Creekwood Safe Right, an elf warrior that enters with 3/1/1 counter, so it is a 2-mana 2/2 that can become as big as a 5/5. At the beginning of your end step, if there's an elf card in your graveyard and this creature has a counter on it, you can remove a counter from this creature. So very like basic thing. You don't have to activate it. It's just this will grow if you got a dead elf. Was this symmetrical effects are never symmetrical? It depends on the first card. If you want to put -1/1 counters on, yes, like that gives you a good upside. If you have ways to use the -1/1 counters, but if you don't, it's a little weird. Darkness Descends. This is one of the story spotlight cards. 4 mana sorcery, put 2 -1/1 counters on each creature. So this is a baby wipe. It will kill a lot of little things. It will make other things even smaller. Can you blight 2 onto 1/1? Yes. I think that this card is fine for limited. It's the sort of thing that will kill most tokens. It'll take out a lot of fairies and small flyers and make everything smaller. At 4 mana, is it like a board wipe? No, it's at uncommon, but it is still doing... It's doing good work, and you can set this up so it's benefiting you more than it's hurting you. I would consider running one of these in a bunch of decks, unless I was like a go wide aggro deck, which I don't think you'd do as much of. You take it out. Would this work on creatures with protection from everything or indestructible? Yep, it's not targeting. It's not damage. Dawn Hand Dissident. This is a 1-mana 1/2 that you can tap, Blight 1, Surveil 1, or tap Blight 2, exile target card from a graveyard. During your turn, you can cast the creature spells from among cards exiled with the creature by removing 3 counters from among creatures you control, in addition to paying their other costs. This is payoff. This is a way to steal from your opponents. It's a graveyard hate, and it's a really cool way to use the -1/1 counters cheaply. I think that this is a good card for limited. I would like to play it, and obviously it's... Wait, it can't? Oh no, only cards you own! Ugh, they did this with the boiler guy in Avatar too. Fine, you don't get to steal, but you do still get to recast cards from your graveyard and get rid of -1/1 counters. I think that it's like, oh yeah, I blight 2, but then I use 3 counters and I can get it back. It's a little slow, but it's a 1-mana 1/2. You could even just like use this to surveil twice and kill it to get rid of it. But it is still graveyard hate, which could probably be helpful. If you have 4 would they see each other's exiles, you would need to have the one in play that you're trying to cast from. You get unblighted. It's not -1/1 counter. Yes, it's any counters, but for the purposes of limited, that's the main counter. There are some decks where you would be willing to use +1/+1 counters to pay for this, but I think typically not. Yeah, it is not the second coming of Deathrite Shaman, though we all wish it were. Dawn Hand Eulogist, one of the coolest arts in the set that's unfortunately on just like a rando common. Evan Fong, doing a great job. She was so proud of this art too. I wish that it was on like a banger rare. So this is a 4-mana 3/3. I hope this is also on like a playmat or something. 4-mana 3/3 with Menace. When it enters, you mill 3 cards. If there's an elf card in your graveyard, your opponents lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. Yeah, it's a perfectly curve-filling card. It has Menace. The more elves you have, the better it gets. Yeah, it's gorgeous art. Absolutely gorgeous art. It's gonna look good on a playmat. Yeah, I really hope that they make a playmat with this. Very pretty. Gorgeous flowers. It's really, really nice. Ghosts of Dawn Glow. This is Oko saving his sister by giving her some juice. Some Dawn Glow juice. Dawn Glow is like a flower. 5 mana, instant, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then, if it isn't your main phase, Blight 2. Yeah, like Storm the Seed Core. Incredible art. Mediocre card. So yeah, this is a 5 mana instant speed reanimate that if you choose to do it at instant speed, you have to Blight 2. That's still pretty nice. I like this. I like instant speed reanimates, and I think that the cost of Blighting 2 isn't that much of a cost at all. Chat is very, very much convinced that they're being intimate with each other. It's an intimate moment of, I don't know, hand feeding your sister the juice. What if you don't have creatures? Well, you're reanimating a creature, so you can Blight onto that creature. Because it's sequenced as return and then, it would Blight onto the creature you have if you didn't have any other creatures. The juice. Stream Caesar is a 4-mana 3/2 flyer. Nice stats. When it enters, you may Blight 1, and if you do, each opponent discards a card. Ooh! Alright, I'm into it. I like a 4-mana 3/2 that has the potential to make my opponent discard. I probably wouldn't put the Blight on this if I had other choices, because dealing flying damage is good. But making your opponent discard tends to be nice and limited. It's kind of Thoughtseize callbacky. Yeah. Thoughtseize did not get a reprint on the bonus sheet for this set, as far as I know, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would have been there. Would have been cool. Would have been cool. They showed the art and people thought Thoughtseize was coming back to standard. Nope. Just Dream Caesars. Gloom Ripper. 5 mana, 4/4 Elf Assassin. It's rare Assassin. Again, a creature type I care about. It is part of Warm P for our criminal outlaws. When this creature enters, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, and up to 1 target creature an opponent controls gets -0/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of elves you control plus the number of elves in your graveyard. The more elf, the better. This could be your, like, I don't know, your elf Chupacabra. It's fine for limited, and I could see putting it into a black-green elf deck as just a flexible buff/removal card. Hey, Gloom Ripper. Yeah, fine for limited. The more elves you have, the better it gets. On its own, though, it's at least +1/+0 and -0/-1, because it is an elf. It doesn't say other elf. Yeah. It's a face card for a starter deck. Yeah, it's like a good basic piece of just creature type interaction. Gnarlbark Elm. 3 mana, 3/4 that enters with 2 -1/-1 counters, so it's a 1/2. Yeah, 1/2. 3 mana, remove 2 counters from it. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Ooh, so you can use it as a little piece of removal. That's kind of nice. It greedily drinks boggart curses and returns their pain in kind. Nice. So the elm out here reflecting pain onto these nasty boggarts. It's a little slow. It's a little pricey, but I do think that that's cool. And it's a good way to use the -1/-1 counters. Would you be able to activate the ability if it only had one counter? No, because I think that you're essentially paying 2 counters. Grave Shifter, getting a reprint. This is Gravedigger. That's every type. Yay! You can put this in any kind of deck that cares about creature types. This is, I think, a very solidly playable card in Limited. It's a 4 mana 2/2. When it enters, you put a creature from your graveyard back into your hand. Like, that's just nice. It's just nice. I'm down. Grub, Storied Matriarch. Gosh, I love her. Just look at her. She's so cute. She's still so cute. You love Grub? We all love Grub. It's a Goblin mom. 3 mana, 2/1 with Menace. Whenever this creature enters or transforms into this side, you return a Goblin card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, some Goblin recursion. Does require you to have Goblins in a graveyard. You can also pay red at the beginning of the first main phase to transform Grub into other Grub. This is her Shadowmoor side. Still has Menace. Still a 2/1. I like, by the way, that they kept the stat lines the same on all of these. It does make it a little harder to track. Whenever she attacks, you may Blight 1. Don't Blight her, though. She's a 2/1. If you do, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of the blighted creature. Except it has, at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice the token. Oh, that's fun. I like that. Bring back a goblin. Kill the goblin. Clone the goblin. Bring it back. Not the fastest, not the strongest, but still really cool. Yeah, she's a notorious auntie. She's a notorious auntie. Somebody's asking if I'm sponsored by Wizards. Sort of. I am a Lorwyn Eclipsed ambassador, but they don't, like, pay me for that. I did get hired, though, to be part of a reveal video, which the Command Zone guys filmed and directed, and it's over on the Wizards YouTube channel. So, yay! I did get to be involved with some official stuff, and they also sent me some product that I'm gonna open later. Yeah, I'm gonna be opening Lorwyn Eclipsed cards early, because I'm not waiting. Kidding me? I want to see these. I'm ready. When you transform back to Storied Matriarch, does he enter the battlefield trigger again? Yes, it does! It's whenever she enters or transforms to this side. Yeah, in 20 years, Command Zone will just be a full-on movie studio. It'll just be like Jimmy and Josh filling all the main roles, and it's just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, and Rachel, too. She looks good in a cool costume. Gut Splitter Gang. Oh, look at his little tum-tum. This is a 4 mana 6/6. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may Blight 2. If you don't, you lose 3 life. So this is going to be like a goblin that you shrink over time, or you pay life to keep it as a 6/6. But as an uncommon, I think this is pretty rad. It's a 4 mana 6/6 that then becomes a 4/4 maybe, and then maybe a 2/2, and then it dies. Or you just pay some life. It's worth it. You just keep dealing with it. You think we should just add Freddie Wong into the mix? I mean, I'm a Freddie Wong fan. Like, when I see Jimmy, I'm like, yeah, man, I love the podcast your brother's on, Dungeons and Daddies. I love that you show up in it too, but like, yeah, it's like all the rocket jump guys. Yeah, you could put your Blight onto something else to keep this as 6/6, and that's totally fine. Something else that maybe can remove those counters. Who knows? Could you Blight 2 onto a 1/1? Yes. Heirloom Auntie. Ugh, the aunties are so great. This one has a swamp knife. Strange woman handing out knives and pawns. 3 mana 4/4, but it enters with 2 -1/1 counters, so it's a 3 mana 2/2. Whenever another creature you control dies, surveil 1 and remove a counter from this. Nice. Okay. A -1/1 counter. I like that. I feel like kind of the opposite of the white card that removes the counters when things enter. This is removing them when they die, but this one has the bonus surveil. Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't go crazy on it, but it's really cute. So that makes me go crazy on it. Iron Shield Elf. I'll look at you and your big leafs. 2 mana, 3/1. You can discard a card to give this indestructible and tap it. Wait, didn't we have this like exact same card in white? That's whack. Yeah, I feel like we have this exact same card in white. That's fun. This is a free discard engine for black, which is relevant for some constructed decks. It is, listen, it's no psychic frog, but it's standard legal. I think that this card is fine, though. Fine for limited. It can protect itself. What it is horrible at is getting -1/-1 counters. It just dies. Dies to -1/-1, because it sure is a 3/1. Neat. Moonglove Extractor. 3 mana, 2/1, Elf Warlock. When it attacks, you draw a card and lose life. If this were a 2/2 or a 2/3, which we have seen, like, think Audacious Thief, this would be a lot better. I'm not that big of a fan of it. It does cantrip, but it's so bad at attacking as a 2/1. Also, not good for blighting, which makes me sad. I want to blight. Moon Shadow. I've seen some people very excited about this card. So Moon Shadow is a 1 mana menace 7/7 that enters with 6 -1/-1 counters on it. Whenever one or more permanent cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, like if you're playing a self-mill deck or a deck that sacrifices things or discards your own stuff, remove a -1/-1 counter from it. Okay. You get this down early, your stuff dies, it grows. I like this. I like this as like a potential card to put into certain decks. I could also see experimenting with it in other formats. It's cool. Yeah, or you can Moonshadow into Reese, which would then remove all the counters. You play other things that remove the counters, and you're getting some value. It only cares about permanent cards. Yes, so this is like a Descend trigger, almost, because it's permanent cards. But fetch lands work. Fetch lands are permanent cards that go into graveyards. You could Vampire Hexmage. Except you probably wouldn't bother. No, fetch lands, a Stitcher's Supplier. Yes, notably, if 3 cards are milled and they're all permanents at the same time, it only triggers once to remove a counter. But yeah, it's cool. I think it's a cool card. I think that, like, it's worth playing in limited just to, like, fiddle around with. But I'd love to see people experiment with it in other formats, too. Morn Song Aria. Ooh, Scott Fisher art. 3 mana, legendary enchantment. And this is the old Maryland's ability on an enchantment. So I would say, in general, you do not want to play this in limited. But you do want to play it in constructed when you have something like Opposition Agent in play. Players can't draw cards or gain life. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, searches their library for a card, and puts it into their hand and shuffles. So you always get the card that you want. Your opponent gets a benefit from this first, unless you're taking an extra turn or something. But it's, you can punish it. You have to kind of set up for it. You can use Ashiok as well, which just prevents your opponent from searching their library. You could use the white bird that only lets them search 3 down or whatever it is, 5 down. There's ways to make this not so good symmetrically. And I think that that's the only time you would want to play it is in a deck that's based around it. Even Mind Sensor, there you go. Cards like Stock Up do get around the no draw thing, but it does prevent all draw cards. So if your opponent has like draw and discard, they just discard. Play it when they're at 3 life. You could do that too. But like, I don't think I would put it in many decks unless I had like something crazy to tutor for this. Like, there's nothing my opponent will have that's better than that. Mud Button Curse Tosser. Another really cute piece of art. Look at this little frog on a leash. Oh, so cute. Oh, wait, is the frog the curse she's tossing? Does she throw frogs at people? Good for her. 1 mana, 2/1 Goblin Warlock. You have to either behold a goblin or pay 2. So she costs 3 mana, or she's a 2/1, 1 mana, 2/1 that has goblin cost. This creature can't block. When this creature dies, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. Oh, that's kind of nice. Especially with all the blight running around. I still like it. I like it. I think it's cute. Yeah, this is like, it's only a 1-drop if you have the Behold. I like that we brought back Behold. We do beholding it. But, not bad. Not bad. I wish it could block, though. To, like, force your opponent to kill it. You can Blight onto it to kill it, though. The little guy, Amy, seal of approval. Nameless Inversion. This is a instant that's all types. Interesting, because it is a 2-mana Kindred instant shapeshifter. Changeling. Okay. Target creature gets +3, -3, and loses all creature types until end of turn. Oh, it's like a funky sort of a kill spell. This kills most things in limited. Or it gives you a little bit of extra damage. Yippee. Yeah, you could behold this instant to cast this. That would work, because it's a goblin. Kind of. It's a goblin. I think this is fine. It's essentially a 2-mana kills a lot of stuff spell. Is this an enter the battlefield effect? No, this is an instant. It's not a creature. It just has a creature type. Kindred's weird. Nightmare Sower. 4 mana, 2/3, flying, lifelink. Oh, flying and lifelink, you say. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, remember all those flash fairies? Put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Magic players will show you a nameless inversion and say, that's a goblin. Because it's a goblin. Okay? And this is a fairy. A fairy assassin. I like this. I think that there's a lot of ways to cast on your opponent's turn in this set, especially if you're blue-black fairies. And that's a nice payoff. It's also, yeah, it has lifelink and flying as a 4 mana, 2/3. Like that. To me, that stat line is enough. And then there's that bonus. It is an uncommon, but I think it's a cool one. Perfect Intimidation. So Morcant, who is just some sort of a turbo hottie, is intimidating a sweet little vampire child. Oh no. Oh no. That's what's happening in the story. They're just like, you're so hot. And Morcant's like, yeah, I know. I know. There's other art of Morcant. I don't know why Morcant looks so Shadowmoor here, though. Because this happens in Lorwyn. 4 mana, sorcery, you either choose one or both. It's a mind rot. Target opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand, or remove all counters from target creature. Nice. That tons of benefits for both of those. I think that this is... Yeah, I think this is a solid card for limited. It is a 4 mana, like, mind rot, but the removing counters so much benefit, especially when you're heavy in black, because that's where so much blight is. Requiting Hex. Oh, this, like... That Elk Raven elemental is drowning in squiggles. Happens to all of us. This is a 1 mana instant. As an additional cost of the spell, you may Blight 1. Destroy target creature with a mana value 2 or less. If the spell's additional cost was paid, you gain 2 life. Mana value 2 or less is very limiting. I could see running one of these in a draft deck. I could even see this being a sideboard card, by the way. Like, if there is a deck running around that has a lot of only 1 and 2 mana value creatures, like, I don't know, Gran, I could see that being played. Yeah, it's no fatal push. It's no fatal push. Feels sideboardy. Maybe play one of it in limited. A wretched Wretch, who has gotten out of this big beastie's mouth. Told you I taste terrible. Gosh, they're so cute. 3 mana, 4/2. When it dies, if it had -1/-1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control and it loses all abilities. Cute. So it has not persist. The opposite of it. If it died with -1/-1 counters, it comes back once and then it's just a 4/2. This seems fine to me. I like a 3 mana 4/2. Could be kind of fun. Scarblade Scout is ruining up these guys. Hi, Scraps. You want to be a part of the set review? She might come up here. 2 mana 2/2 with lifelink. When it enters, you mill cards. There's some elves that care about the elves in your graveyard, and there's some also like cards that bring creatures back from the graveyard, which not bad. It's a bear with lifelink and another upside. I actually really like 2 mana 2/2s with lifelink. I find that they're very nice. Scarblade's Malice. You smelling those fingers? My fingers smell kind of like oranges because I had a clementine during my break. Target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink. When it dies this turn, make an elf. Okay, not bad. You're kind of like expecting to trade into things. It's an okay combat trick. I do like that it's only 1 mana. Hello. Zoop. The poison on their blades is nothing compared to the poison in their hearts. Scraps, do you have poison in your heart? Probably. When is the Scraps secret lair? When Wizards of the Coast decides that Scraps truly is the cutest kitten of all time. She's so cute with her little stinky face. Yeah, good girl. She wants to look at the Lorwyn cards. She's like, I'm a boggart. Shimmer Creep. 5 mana 3/5 with Menace. It's vivid. When it enters, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors of permanents you have among permanents you control. Oh, it's kind of like a fixed Gary, except instead of devotion, it's the number of colors. I like this for 5 color piles. I think it could be very fun for limited. I'm also the kind of person that would totally build a deck that's like, yeah, I'm running as many multicolored permanents as I can. We haven't, by the way, there's a lot of multicolored permanents because of hybrid mana in this set. I could see like running a pile of those and then being like, Shimmer Creep. Link the Shimmer Creep. Yeah, elementals on Lorwyn are weird looking. I wouldn't seek this out too highly, but I do think that it's fun if you're in a lot of colors. Taster of wares. Gotta make sure that it's good. You can see, I think, a merfolk in the background. Like, why are you eating that? That's not food. 3 mana Goblin Warlock. When it enters, target opponent reveals X cards from their hand. X is the number of goblins you control, and goblins do tend to come in great numbers. You choose one of the cards. That player exiles it. If it was an instant or sorcery, you may cast it for as long as you control this creature. Ooh! Goblin crime! I would put this in a lot of just like red-black goblin decks because I think that that's a good ability and it's fun. In limited, this is also a pretty nice ability. It can let you steal a spell too. I'm tasting your wares. I'm wearing your wares. Yeah, it is a 3 mana 3/2 though otherwise, but it's essentially got at least a discard 1 because it's like, oh yeah, you reveal 1 card at minimum unless they killed this in response to its trigger, and that card goes to exile. Is that specifically the Merfolk Merchant from before? That one was wearing like a top. This one doesn't have that on, but it does look like one of the Merchant Merfolk. Yes, you can hit lands on this. Twilight Diviner, or Diviner, is a 3 mana 3/3 elf cleric. When it enters, you surveil 2. Very pretty art. Oh, fancy lady. The Shadowmoor elves believe in not just pursuing the nature of themselves, but in pursuing the nature of their environment, so they try to make everything gorgeous. Whenever 1 or more other creatures you control enter, if they enter or were cast from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of them. Only triggers once a turn. We've only seen a little bit of Reanimate so far. 1 in white, 1 in black, I think. But that is a really nice ability. I could see this being put into a Commander Reanimation deck because it like kind of curves nicely into some Reanimation, and that feels pretty good. There's an alt art version that's incredible. Okay, I want to look it up, but I also am not sure I would be able to. because my cat is sitting in front of the keyboard, and sometimes she tries to bite me when I type things in. Twilight. No, she's looking at my hands. Twilight Diviner. Alright, so there's the card. There's, ooh, pretty alt art. I mentioned before that, so these storybook frames or fabled frames, they actually have, like actual like children's storybook illustrators for a lot of them. So if you look up Isabella Mazzanti, you might find like a kid's book drawn by them, which I think is really cool. Yeah, you could see Scraps watching those fingies just in case they was doing anything dangerous, like not petting her on the head. Oh, you would like this in like an aura deck? Yeah, or the okay, I can't remember the name of, it was a Dungeons and Dragons pre-con commander that reanimated. That was a good one. Hey, Raven! Thank you for the 40-month resub. Raven and I got to go walking along the beach on one of my days off. Yay. It's very nice. Okay. Good card for just like general play. As for limited, it's a 3-mana 3/3 that surveils. If you have reanimation, it gets very good. If you don't, it's a 3-mana 3/2. I would still play it. I just wouldn't like go crazy on it. Sephiroth. Yeah, I was thinking of Sephiroth because that's the Esper one, right? Unbury. They're digging up that guy. This is some Kev Fang art. This is so colorful. This is a 2-mana instant. Return target creature card from your graveyard to hand, or 2 creature cards that share a creature type from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, we had a similar card to this before. I think that this is fine. It's a sort of like very cheap card that is dead in your hand until your graveyard's got stuff in it, but it's got a pretty nice rate, and doing it at instant speed, I tend to like. Oh, Scrap. Okay, one second. And before we go on to the next color, let's make sure Scraps gets what she wants, which is a delicious treat, by which I mean a special individually selected kibble. Her favorite thing, by the way, is to get kibbles fed to her one at a time. She like sits next to the sofa if we're watching TV, which is where her food bowl is, and just waits to be fed kibbles. It's so cute. That's right. Good girl. She has access to food. She just wants us to give it to her. That's right. It's a treat because it's special because I gave it to you. Her treat is 1 bite of regular dinner. She likes to chase her kibbles down too. What a good girl. Mwah. All right. That is the end of the black cards. We're going to take a break and then I'm going to get my fingers bitten by my cat.